Hello, everyone. It's good to see you all. I'm really excited today that we have Andii here to share his story with everybody. Quite a few of you have gotten to know Andii through the community. He's been mentioned quite a bit just recently. Before I read his bio, I just want to tell you briefly how I got to know who Andii was. It was through one of the community members who had a superb reading with Andii and literally said you should have a reading yourself. She went ahead and arranged it for me, and it was amazing. It's pretty much the best reading I've ever had, simply because I really value those evidential things that nobody else could possibly know. They may be small details, but they're big, and I know many of you will identify with me saying that. So from there, I thought, well, I'm going to ask a couple more of my closer friends to have readings too and get some more feedback. I did that, and the feedback was phenomenal. And it was at that stage that I posted publicly in the group about Andii, and many of you went on to have amazing readings as well. And so we thought we'd have him on and hear his story. And I'm going to read his bio now. It's just interesting just to even read his bio. So I'll read it for you, and then I'll hand over to him, and we'll get started. After we've finished sharing, etc., you'll all have an opportunity to ask questions if you'd like. So let's see the bio. Andii is an international evidential psychic medium and teacher. He was born in London, England, and was able to see spirit as a child. After growing up in the UK, he wanted to do more, so he travelled, experiencing all he could. He lived in the Caribbean and then Australia for many years. With a varied career in both the corporate and creative industries, he never quite found his place. Spirit always came knocking throughout his life, yet he still didn't know quite what to do with it. In the early 2000s, he saw his first medium, and at that point, he realised that this was normal and not weird or just in the movies. He read all he could about mediumship, joined circles, and studied at the Arthur Findlay College. And now he's practicing and teaching mediumship, and he joins us today to share his experience. So, having read that, welcome, Andii. I'm hand it over to you. If you could just start, I'm curious to what you say is you could see spirit as a child. Was that objective, or was it in your mind?
Well, hi Sally, hi everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight, or today for you in America. So yes, I could see. So as a child, I could see spirit as I can see you. I was playing on my own, and I just knew I wasn't alone. I would be walking along and constantly looking behind me, as a small child, and even as a teenager and what have you. Especially where I lived, it was a little bit out there, and I just knew that other people weren't able to see or do the things that I could see and do, and I it would go so far as to even going to sleep at night. I wouldn't want to go to sleep because I knew I wasn't alone, and I could see people in my room, I could see people on my bed, and like any child, back then, if I said anything like that, I was told by my mum or dad, "Don't be daft, go to sleep. Children should be seen and not heard," and so I eventually just learned to continue to see who I saw, talk to people how I talk to them, and keep it all quiet and hush it down. And my parents were, they were great parents. Oh, they still are great parents. We're very close. And mum always called me a angel in the daytime and a devil at night. And I knew why. I wasn't daft if they said it, as I wouldn't go to sleep or close my eyes as there were people in my room. During the daytime, I would happily talk to anyone, stranger or whoever. I'd stare at them with my blue eyes, like as a small child, and be really friendly and out there. But yeah, come nighttime, it was just like, no, not doing it, not closing my eyes. And Dad told me a story recently, actually, how I ran in their room in the early hours of the morning, and I now know that to be the witching hour. And I ran in there saying, "There's a man in my room, Daddy. There's a man in my room." And Dad thought I meant, a human man, as he would. And he jumped out of bed, grabbing something heavy along the way, running, into my room, and then came back very irate as he couldn't see anybody, even though I'd be like, "He's there, he's there." So, that sort of, again, I stopped doing that because I knew it didn't work. But actually, uh, I preferred, it sounds daft now being a grown adult, but I preferred sleeping with them and being with them in their room because I felt that connection to them both. I felt protected with them as well. And, being a youngster and well, actually, 10, 11, 12, it was exactly the same. And I just felt that safety when I was sleeping next to them. I mean, they had to get up for work the next day, so they didn't enjoy it one little bit. And it hasn't changed at all. I have to tell you. Well, I'm not sleeping with my parents still, but spirit-wise, they come through still now. They wake me up in the morning. It's a little bit different because I'm a little bit more used to it.
It's objective. You see them outside.
Yeah,
Still
I
like
see them like I see, yeah, you, and I I get that now. I know that a couple of them are my guides. One is my granddad now. The best three that I have are the three what I class as dancing ladies who are dressed to the nines, doing the can, showing me how to dance. And I know I'm awake because I've now worked the way I physically make myself sit up or I get up out of bed. And so I know that I'm awake and I say to them, what do you want? I'm trying to sleep. Respect my boundaries because they know, but they're just playing with it. And I like that. I as much as I put my boundaries there, I do like it when they come through. I do like it especially when they make me laugh and make me smile because they do like to have fun. Well, my guides do especially, and my granddad, 100%. And so yeah, so that sort of hasn't changed at all. And and I suppose the other reason I didn't close my eyes as well when I was going to bed and is because my dreams are extremely vivid. They're very real. It's enough to get. I just saw somebody put something about sixth sense. It's enough to give anybody or any foreign anything a run for its money with some of my dreams. And I can do that thing where I can wake up a few times in my dream, have some water, write things down, close my eyes, and I will go straight back into that bit where I stopped. And so as a child, and actually even as an adult now, like that still happens, and it is still, it can be scary, like somebody's put. And that's another reason why, um, I didn't enjoy going to sleep at night. And I remember traveling with a friend of mine, and she was like, "Why haven't you shut your eyes?" Because I was like, "Oh, look at that," and because we were sharing a room, and she was like, "Well, close your eyes. That's how you go to sleep." And I was like, "No, not me. I wait until I'm really tired, and then eventually my eyes shut." And she was like, "That's not right." And so it wasn't until I won't even tell you how old I am because it'd be really embarrassing. And that's how I realized that that is the way to go to sleep. And so now when I go to bed, I'm talking about my bedtime things here, but that's how you do. You go to bed, you shut your eyes, and I'm used to that now, and I am sleeping a lot. So, but it's just one of those things that you adapt to, you get used to, and now I'm very much comfortable with spirit and my guides and my team, and
not that well, from my understanding, it's not that common for people to see spirit objectively on a regular basis. It's not a very common form of mental mediumship to see spirit objectively on a continuous basis, from my understanding.
So I know a few people that can actually,
Right.
including my mentor that I went to. I went to I did a trance course a few weekends ago in church, and even in the group, I was able to first see who could work with spirit and who couldn't, because I could see who was around them. So that was fascinating itself. And seeing the one sitting there just talking, and I could see, well, there's nobody there. And then the other fascinating thing was to be able to tell people afterwards how what I saw, who I saw behind them, working with them, and a couple of the ladies that knew their guides very well was like, oh my gosh, that is exactly my guide, and that's exactly how he or she works with me. So look, it's not all the time, but I feel very blessed when it does happen. It's funny when I'm walking down the street with friends and I smile or I say good morning at somebody and there's nobody there and they're all just looking at me. And that happens. And again, I feel like they're showing me themselves for a reason. Maybe they just want the acknowledgement of a smile, of a something. I get used to it now when I clock it beforehand, because then I can just say it in my head instead of out loud. So I don't get the funny looks.
I hear objectively on
Yes,
an ongoing regular basis, and that's, yeah, you kind of know when to respond out loud when they're talking,
exactly.
and so it's just yeah. But with mine, people, if they're with me, can hear it too. If they're stood next to me and spoken to objectively, if there's somebody next
Yes.
to me, they can hear it too. So it's slightly different in that. But I that must be amazing to walk around and just see. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can be sitting in here doing a reading, and if those of you who've had readings with me, you'll know that I kind of sometimes do this because they come in my left ear like that, unless they want to trick me and have fun with me, and then they go both, and they come through my door. And there's occasions when I just see certain things just roll past my desk here, and from it could be from a football to an actual person, or they pop their head in through the door, and then I'm able to describe how they look, and that's great detail to be able to give to somebody as well.
You
Which
described my son perfectly, and I'm sure there's others thinking as you're saying that you did the same for them. Describe.
Yeah, and it depends on how they come through as well. Like, I say a lot of the older people that come through, mums, dads, grandparents, they like to shave off some years to remember themselves how they once were uh, before certain things happened. Which, why wouldn't you want to come back looking, in your blaze of glory? So it is a wonderful. I don't take anything for granted, and also I know that spirit throughout my life have topped and changed the way that they work with me. I talk about being able to see, then the next minute they'll take that away, and the next, 5 or more readings are just a sense of knowing and a sense of feeling, and it's being able to try and change constantly with spirit, like we would in any job. We need to be able to adapt and change, and know that one way doesn't always work with anyone. To be honest with you.
But thinking on
Yeah.
you were touching on their personalities, how much fun they can be when they come through, and coming through younger. From a personality perspective, you often hear differing thoughts on just how much of their personality do they keep with them. Do they just keep all the positive, what we class as positive emotions, and kind of the rest of them drop away once they're back in spirit? What's been your experience? Have you had anybody come through with feelings of sadness or regret or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I personally, with all the readings that I've done, I can say people, I just let them talk and tell me what they want to talk about. Um, I find it's funny when mediums apologize on behalf of their loved ones in spirit, because that's not for me evidence, because where is the evidence that they're saying that and it's not just a medium? If it's an apology with a huge amount of detail, that's completely different. And but I I can bring, you know, I've done readings where it's all happy, and then I've done readings where they're feeling very sorry for themselves, and they'll bring through their mental health or what happened to them, and I, it's a funny one, and anybody that has been in any of my groups or readings will know as well, is that I don't talk usually about how someone's passed, because uh, I would say the reason for that is a child talking, especially to their parents. It's different with adults talking, like it's mum, dad, or uncle or friend. A child talking to their parents, they wouldn't divulge those kinds of bits of information. They wouldn't want to talk about those bits of a bit like they wouldn't want to talk about or other naughty things they may have got up to. They might touch on it, and so there's that I won't ever bring through. There's a lot of mediums I've seen work that say, I say everything. Well, actually, I think we deal with a lot of people's emotions, so we have to read the room, and you have to be very careful with how people would react to whatever's being said. And also, 95% of the time, a parent is going to know how their child has passed. Um, and so it doesn't need to be relived. And I also have seen mediums that will, once they get a tiny bit, they will then take that tiny bit and elaborate on it. And I think, again, in no way on earth that person would ever bring through all that detail. That's
Actually, it's funny you should say that, because I've seen that happen before, where they get a little and they embellish it. And
yeah,
sometimes it's deliberate embellishment, but occasionally I think they just psychically put themselves in that situation and build it up, perhaps without
yeah,
even realizing that they're doing it.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Absolutely agree. And it's a shame, but I suppose in any how can I say delicately, in any industry, in any role, you're always going to get the people that are going to go in, like in a china shop. Then you're going to get the ones that you know carefully dip their toe in, and then you're going to get the ones in the middle that can gauge it right, and gauge it well. So I think that's the same in any industry, not just spiritualism and mediumship.
You
Yeah.
touched on your object seeing objectively. Outside of, what is your strongest ability, would you say, when you're doing readings? Would it be visual or feeling or hearing, or
So do you know, it varies. As I say, it constantly changes for me, and with working with them. One week I can say it's all clairaudient, and the next week it's like, I just feel and I just know that it's coming through. And also, if I put into my head that I've got one stronger than the other, that is when I'm blocking all those other senses, and that's the same when I'm teaching others as well. I'm like, allow your mind to just be able to go, I can do everything, and be open to be able to do everything, because it's our human brains that are then compartmentalizing things and saying, we can only do this. This is my strongest. But in actual fact, everything that we do should be our strongest in whatever we do in life. It should always be our best. We should always be, trying to give 100% in all aspects and in all areas.
I'll follow on from that, because that's interesting. Something I was thinking about the other day. If a medium has a very strong belief of a particular thing, potentially they could block themselves from ever experiencing something
Yes.
be contrary to that strong belief. Yeah,
Yes.
I agree with that.
And I get that, like with teaching that I do in my development groups, I get so many people going, well, I wish I could just get the names that you get. I wish I could just get the level of detail that you're getting. And it's like, well, you can. I'm not special. I'm just open to it. and I, practice every day. I sit every day when I'm going out for walks. I describe things so they've got my they can use my knowledge of things. And don't get me wrong, I'm not walking down the street going, oh, look at the red rose, look at the yellow car. I'm doing that all in my head, so they can get used to um, my experiences. And I suppose being able to my life has been quite varied. I'll be honest with you. It's not been straightforward, and I've experienced an awful lot. I've been through an awful lot myself. I've worked in so many different industries, both corporate and creative. As a child, I was on the stage at the age of, I think, 9, and so even from a young age, I was able to walk with people of all ages, diverse backgrounds, in ever-changing casts being on the stage. I was able to then present to people like I'm doing now, slowly losing my voice. And it's all these things that I look back on now and think this was setting me up all the way through my life to be where I am now, and that we don't ever stop learning. And, you know, um, all of my roles that I've done as well in life have been to help people or make people feel better, whether it was being on the stage, being daft, or it would be hairdressing to make people feel good once they come into the salon and left looking fabulous after my fingers have run through their hair. Or I was in recruitment in the media industry for a number of years, and that too is changing people's lives. It's helping them get out of a place where they don't want to be anymore. It's about helping them, and I always had a good sixth sense. Talking of sixth sense, of people who are coming in for roles, knowing the best people that would be putting forward and would probably get the roles. But again, as human beings, we've got free will, and on the day I can't do the interview for them. So if they mess up or fluff their interview, then they didn't get it. But usually I could spot a good person, and so yes, I've had lots of ups and downs, and I've even had it's very tragic, but I've had five people, I think it is, either take their own lives or lose their life in front of me, and that isn't the most norm for your average person to have been around. And again, I feel maybe those people were drawn to me when that happened, or maybe sort of putting them in line with me, so I could then help them the best way I could, and also be able to draw on those experiences for my reading. Sorry, Sally.
No, I'm just curious. There's some similarity in the intuitive nature of what you did. I think before your mediumship kicked in, or before you embraced your mediumship, you're intuitive. And I look back and I see the same. But I'm wondering if we have another common denominator. Was any of this that you've just mentioned, this trauma, effectively, did that occur before you embraced your mediumship as well? Did you have trauma in your life? So you have it's interesting how many mediums do have trauma in their history. And
I mean, look, I say trauma in the fact that I lost a very good friend. I lost my best friend when I was younger. I the the 5 people that with what happened to them in front of me, that is trauma, even though I'm able to separate that that's them and not me. I suffered. I've had various trauma happen to me in the workplace, and that has been both mental and physical abuse within the workplace, which has then made me like withdraw and suffer with my mental health, which took me, I'll be honest with you, to a few times to very, very dark places. But again, I'm here to tell the tale. And again, I feel that I had to go through those times to make me stronger, to then be able to rise up. And I feel as well that the family members that I have lost, they've all gone at what what I'd class as their time. I mean, I'm a great believer of that anyway. But it's just, it is grandparents who, well, they help me immensely now. And uncles and aunts and what have you. So I haven't lost, I'm still very lucky. I have my parents, I have my siblings, I have my, nephews. Actually, I have lost one nephew. Sorry. Um, and that's the thing. So it's like, I am very blessed in that respect that they, I'm surrounded by that love and that family still as well, and also my chosen family. Not only did I battle with spirit wise, I battled with my sexuality as well, which all comes in. So if I'm quashing down my sexuality, I'm quashing down spirit. Eventually, it's gonna come out and explode. So yeah.
But you, when it's interesting when you then look at yourself today, you are the total sum of all your experiences. The
So.
good and bad have made you into the person you are today. And I strongly believe that all of it takes the contrast to make us the better people that we can be. If everything was just sunshine the whole way through, how could you have empathy with many people? But yeah, so
I feel that there's not one medium that I've met who's had an easy life and an easy ride. And if they have, I think I'd be quite dubious as well myself. I remember that in my bio you mentioned that I went to a medium myself. It was the first person I went to, and I replaced my friend at the very last second outside the door because he'd lost his mum and he wanted to go in and couldn't. And he was like, "Please, I'll lose my money. Please go in." And I still remember that man today. As we were walking in, he said, "You don't need me. You'll be doing this yourself." And he said, "And when you're done with the material world, you will be a medium, but you first need to live." And this is when I was very young. And then to think of all the places I've been to and all the things that's happened to me, he's absolutely right. I needed to live. I needed to experience these things. And whether it's good, bad, or ugly, we're here in this world to learn and to absorb as much as we can.
So your mediumship experience was a long time before you actually started working as a medium. Is that when you?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I've only been working. Sorry, Sally. Sorry.
What made you want to move into the field of mediumship? What was it that made you decide that's my calling? Were they knocking at your door so loudly you couldn't?
Yeah. Honestly, throughout my life, spirit have come knocking constantly. I can recount numerous stories of when they've come to me either with people, without people. I've been to jail. No, I haven't been to jail. I've been to two jail tours. One was at Alcatraz, one was Melbourne, and both those times I couldn't go into certain cells. A man made me drop to the floor because he lost the use of his legs, and he showed me what had happened to him. And at that point, I was really going, I don't know what to do. And I was just like, just don't anybody see, it'll pass. And it passed. But he wanted to tell me his story. And in Alcatraz, if you've ever been to Alcatraz, not only do you have the ear things in to listen to, well, I had him here telling me things as well. So that was even more baffling. But it's, I suppose they've always come back and forth. In my lowest points, they've always come back, saying no. There was one time I was in a really bad way. I don't know how I got home. To this day, I still don't know how I got home. And my friend and my mum and dad don't know how I got here, but they're very thankful that I got home. And I think that was to do with spirit. And I feel that there was another moment, and I can't picture the actual time. I was really, really down, and my friend again bought me a reading, and this was the second reading I'd ever had in my life. And she was like, "I hate seeing you like this. Please can I get this for you?" So I was like, "Okay." And I'm so glad she did, because she ultimately saved my life, because the reading was fantastic. My granddad came through. He was able to give me really good bits of information via this medium. He told me that I needed to meditate and that now was the time. And I left there completely elated. I was on a completely, oh, what's the saying, cloud nine. And I was like, I can't meditate. My brain will never switch off. And I was amazed at how quickly I took to meditation, and finding that inner calm before the next thought comes through was, I have to say, it was beautiful, and it still is beautiful when it happens. And I meditate daily, I sit in the power. And during those early days of meditation, they brought through so much. It's kind of like they reel you in with all of this information and all of these things that they want to show you. I saw my birth, which was fascinating. It was you know, the old picture movies with the flashing uh, slide shows.
Yes.
And I was saying, "Why are you showing me this baby? Who is this baby?" And my guide said, "This is you." Now, it's fascinating because there is like 3 or 4 photos of me as a baby, and they are so blurry on the Polaroid that it could be any baby. So I to be able to have witnessed and seen that, it blew my mind. It still blows my mind just thinking about it right now, which just came back to me. And so I feel that that was then the catalyst of me wanting to learn everything I could about spirit, mediumship, reading, watching YouTube, joining circles, watching demonstrations, seeing how I did or didn't want to work, which I still do today. I always go, if you want me to work like that, I'm not doing it. I've trained at the Arthur Findlay in Barbanell and been taught by some lovely mediums. I feel that spirit are still teachers. There's nobody out there that will teach you personally, because we're all different with the way we learn. And there's nobody better than your team in spirit, your guides, that will teach you. Yes, it's good to have some mediums to show you certain things along the way, bring certain things into your mediumship to see if it works for you or doesn't work for you. However, I would say it's not one shoe fits all, like in anything. And any teacher, well, that happens at school as well, unfortunately. Any teacher that just pushes one way on you, like, leave, go and join a different group, go and join a different circle. They are not the medium for you, because it's about seeing what enhances your mediumship. You know, I had a lady who, wonderful medium called Wendy, some of you know her. She took me under her wing after seeing me once. She then contacted me and said, "I hope you don't mind me contacting you. I needed to reach out because my guides are saying that I need to help you. And if you're open to me helping you, then I would like to help you." And she did. She taught me loads. She taught me how to push my boundaries. She taught me how to open up. I had one-to-ones with her as well as group stuff. I, with her help, proved time and time again that our souls live on, our loved ones in spirit are always around us. They never leave us. We can indeed communicate with them. And it's just about, I don't feel special. I know all these things have happened to me, but I believe that any one of you out there can connect with whoever you've lost. And don't get me wrong, there's some people that will never want to be on a medium, want to be on a platform, and that's fine. You might just want to do it for you. And you can do it just for you. It's like any industry. You have beginners, you have middle, and you have, expert. Like singers, we've got the likes of, or had Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey and Pavarotti, and then you've got your little pop puppets who just look very pretty and can just look good in camera. They can't sing, and it is the same thing with anything that we do. So I would say if you wanted to learn as well, you can learn. You can do this. You can just quieten your mind, um, and feel that connection again. And I would have to say, it's it's finding the new way of l- being with that person, living with that person, communicating with that person all over again. And trust me, they are standing side by side with you with everything that you do. And it is about not using these eyes, these ears, these hands, because for as long as, human form, we want that. We want that touch. We want to hear that voice, that laughter. You can do that, Sally, which is fantastic. A lot of mediums can't. And, you know, it's about going inside, and it's about retraining our brain to then hear a different way, see a different way, and feel a different way, to then be able to feel your son, your daughter, your mum, your dad, whoever it might be. And it can happen as well.
A lot of
Um,
people in the community do have very strong relationships now with their children on the other side.
yeah,
And there are others that are learning what to do. One of the things, and it's interesting that my team told me when they've been asked by people in the community, what is the best way for us to learn to communicate with our children? And my team came back with meditation, learn to meditate.
yeah,
A few weeks later, somebody came back and said, yes, but apart from meditation, what is the best way that we can learn to connect with our children? And my team came back and they said, meditation, start with meditation. And everybody can. And it's like what you said about learning mediumship, learning how to connect. Meditation is very subjective as well. You can find what works for you. You can take from here, and here, and develop your own practice that will work for you. The key, and then it becomes, like I think you described it, such a pleasure to do. It's a real gift to self. It can be laborious initially when you're trying to learn, what practice works for you. It can be quite laborious, but then it becomes
timing as well, isn't it? We all have busy lives, and I say to my group all the time, I I'm lucky. This is me. This is what I do. You've all got families or jobs to go and do. I get up, I meditate in the morning, and then I sit in the power in the afternoon, and I talk to my team all through the day, and I do readings, and that's why we can never compare ourselves to other mediums or other people like in doing this, because you might join a group once a week, and if that's what you can do, then that's what you can do. But if you can sit and meditate every day and practice with other people, then that's going to build, and it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And that is the only way to be able to do it. Well, you need sitters to be able to do a reading. You can't just sit there on your own. The only thing you can do on your own, I would say, is once you've got that blend with whoever it is, you can do automatic writing, which is fantastic. It works really well with people. They can tell you what to look out for, so then it's not you. So then during the course of your day or your week, you'll suddenly see it and go, that's what I was meant to see. And you can even, well, if you do dreams like I do, you have a dream book by the side of your bed, so you can write that down and see what comes through with that as well. So yeah, meditate, meditate, meditate. Not only do I do the mediumship, I also do the life coaching. And the reason I turned to the life coaching and wanted to get trained in that is, again, to enhance how I talk to people and what I do. And some clients, I have to be honest with you, don't always need a mediumship reading either. They may think they do, but actually they just need someone to talk to, someone to listen with no judgment, and they don't want to burden their family and friends, or a trained doctor, and also life coaching can be a lot cheaper as well. I do want to say that if you are interested in this, that you've probably already been doing things that you're not even aware of, and so keep reading, keep watching on YouTube, keep joining the groups. There's all the coming here today again. That's opening up your minds to something different, and hopefully you'll take something away from this. It's not just some, boring English guy blabbering on, but you'll actually be able to use something of this today. So yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to say that really quickly as well. And to go, yeah, to be able to go forward. And I really quickly, I want to say as well, with the readings, um, put have that trust in your medium before you go. If I can say that more than anything, without that trust, if you're going there thinking, "Oh, this isn't going to work. I only want to hear from this person. Um, have they researched me? Um, uh, I don't believe what they're saying." Like, if you go with all of this, it's not going to be the greatest reading. You have to go with a completely open mind. You have to go with a lot of love and your heart open. Because mediumship, it's not always really straightforward and direct. Sometimes it's a real game and it's a dancing game, and it's about finding that one thing. And some people come to me and the level of the expectation is right up there. And actually, they go, "Oh, my friend had a reading with you. You were, like you said, Sally, you were amazing, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Oh, gosh," because every reading is different. And every reading, it completely varies. There's not one, it's not a star every time, unfortunately. If it was, it'd be brilliant, and it'd be much easier for us all. So I would say, just come with an open mind and that trust that this medium's right for you. If you're already feeling that medium, or you're not feeling that trust, I would say that's the time to not book it, ask for a refund, and go somewhere else. And because there's something not quite right. And again, that's about listening to our gut instincts and realizing that, which people seem to have forgotten the art of listening to ourselves and going with our first impressions and gut instincts, because that really does mean a lot. And also, as a sitter, I know you should know that you can bring through facts, but as long as the facts come through with personality, with memories, with something that you're going to be doing to prove that there is, that your loved ones are still around you, even today after years, that's a reading. If they're just going fact, 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 then and you're not feeling it, say at that point, this isn't working for me. I'd like to stop the reading. We have free will to do that. Ask for a refund. That's what I would also say to you as well. And then that will wheedle out, which what I would say some of the mediums, and let some of the other mediums come through too.
Have you got any last sort of comments you want to make, or observations for the people here?
I would say, firstly, the energy in here is really beautiful. I felt it immediately as soon as the doors opened. The wealth of love that's coming from you all and them all is amazing. My brain is going. Firstly, I would also say follow me on social media, like I'll do that little plug. You'll get daily inspirational videos from me, short little card readings. You'll find out when things are coming up. And also just know that your loved ones, your boys, your girls, your mums, your dads are with you every step of the way. Don't get me wrong, they're not spying on you. They're just checking in on you and making sure that all's all right, and they're there for you with the fun times and the bad times, and just know that they are with you. That's the most important thing, is know that they're with you and know that you can connect with them as well. Just because we can't see them here anymore doesn't mean that they're not standing by your side and sitting by your side with you right now, and always will be as well. But thank you very much for all. Do you know what? Time is precious, so I appreciate every single one of you for giving me your time. And I know America has had Thanksgiving, so I thank you all for giving me your time as well, because time is precious. And I hope you've taken something away from this. And I hope that our paths cross again at some point as well.
Andy, it's just been wonderful, absolutely wonderful to have you here. Lots of beaming faces and nodding heads. I'm grateful for your time as everybody else is. I'm going to finish off, let everybody unmute themselves and say thank you. And hopefully we can do this again sometime. Let me have the flyer for what you're going to do in December. And we'll pop in
December the 9th. Yeah.
To this meeting. I'll pop in the links as well, your contact details and so on, for people to get hold of you if they want to look into mediumship courses, or they can follow you, of course, on your page. Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Love you all, like you all.